I'm going to read a book. It's from the fairies. Yesterday in the fairy book, there was somebody was saying they were scared that they were always going to have an attachment to somebody, and that's not really a bad thing. And in some places, it's good to have an attachment to things, because if mummies weren't attached to their offspring, they wouldn't feed them, they wouldn't look after them, and the daddies probably would be running around all over the fields if they didn't have an attachment to the lady bunnies. They wouldn't look after them, and they wouldn't feed them either. So attachment isn't always a bad thing, but it's also not something we should let control us. It's nice to have fond memories of things. I think it's better to have nice memories of something than have nasty memories of something sometimes. So it's complex. Anyway, I woke up. I've just come back from a fairy party. There was a special fairy party yesterday, and we've all been dancing, which is why I look a bit tired. And I've still got my fairy magic on me. It's one of my fairy crowns, one of my fairy dresses. You can't see it all. I'll show you. Look, fairy Bieber. This is going to be very big in Fairy Town. It always is, actually. Bieber fairies. And sometimes my hair is white, because I'm a fairy. This magical fairy book came from another fairy. I love it so much. I'm going to try and show you the pictures. It's, in case you want to buy it yourself, it's called The Conference of the Birds by Peter Sis. It was sent to me when I was away by another fairy who, I don't know how she knew who I was, but that's fairy magic, called Zeta Bear. I think I did have the ticket in the book to keep the memory. It's gone there. Zeta Bear. She's another fairy. She's, I say, a high-ranking fairy, but she's in her place. She's another teacher. It's got, look, it's even got fairy on that page. There's the 7 oceans are drops of rain on that page. That must have been an important fairy page. I'll try and read it all through. I did used to read it through to people in the fairy circle, the fairy children, as it's one of our teaching books. But I haven't read it for a long time. And it's, well, books always have 2 meanings at least. Biography, to bibliography. You know the words. Sometimes you have to practice. Sometimes the teacher just shows you where to look. There can be the meaning that the master maker meant for the book. Teaching, probably. The meaning of the person who wrote the book, the author who put the words onto the paper. The meaning you take from it. There's multiple meanings from readings. And the meaning that you need. So you never know. Anyway, I'll read it. I hope Peter Sis doesn't mind me reading this book. I think it's a lovely book. It is one of my favourite books. The illustrations are really pretty. That's the first page. I'll do the pictures as well. The light is in fairyland, is what it is. It's glowing in from the outside, you see? There's magic out there. It's fairyland. The Conference of the Birds by Peter Sis. Should I put my glasses on so I look like a teacher? Not just like a fairy that's been out on the lash all night. Seriously. Having fairy parties. Oh! Where are my glasses? There they are. The social aspect of being a fairy. Tendency to get a bit drawn out. Things can go on for longer than they need to. Right. When the poet Attar woke up one morning after an uneasy dream, he realised he was the hoopy bird. Probably best if you buy it yourself, to be honest. There's just two pictures. I think it's the poet. I don't know. Could be you carrying a stick, or it could be a scroll. I don't know. And then look, he turns to a king, and then he turns to a hoopy bird. And he keeps turning to a bird. This is meanings already, isn't it? Birds are angels. How did that happen? Did he die and turn into a bird? Or is it just a metaphor? We don't know. And there he is, among all the other birds. Part 1, in which all the birds of the world get together for a conference and are addressed by the hoopy bird. Hoopy bird. Hoopy loopy bird. I'll show you the other page, just in case you think I'm making it up. There we go. And there he is. Look, it's an eye. And there's the hoopy bird in the middle with the squirrel. It's such a lovely book. And all the birds have come. There's a spoonbill bird there. And then he's done some colouring on that page because it's a magical place. They're probably fairies, really, not birds. They might be birds, though. I don't have all the answers. Birds! Look at the trouble. Birds! Look at the troubles happening in our world. Anarchy, discontent, upheaval, desperate fights over territory, water and food, poisoned air, unhappiness. I fear we are lost. We must do something. I've seen the world. I know many secrets. Listen to me. I know of a king who has all the answers. We must go and find him. And then in the bird in the bottom it says kings have kings. We have had enough of kings. What is the use of another king? I don't know. How do we know this king exists? I don't know. How do we know? How do we know he exists? How do we know? We don't know, do we? We don't know anything. There's proof he exists. Look, here's a drawing of one of his feathers. It fell to the ground in China in the middle of the night. Word got out immediately. I don't know if that's proof, is it? A feather? That's proof of nothing. This king is real. He is as close to us as we are far from him. His name is Simorg, and he lives on the mountain of Kaf. Let us go and find him. Sometimes I think I lived on a mountain of Kaf. Looks like a dark king, doesn't he? Hoopy, Smorg is hidden behind the veils of clouds. Birds. What veil? What clouds? Hoopy, your heart is behind the veil. Part 2, in which all the birds realise that this will be a difficult journey and they are reluctant to give up their comforts. Some birds have doubts, and some birds have fears. Doubts and fears. Duck, I'm happy in the water. It's the source of everything. Hoopy bird says, there's plenty of water where we're going. Falcon, I already have a master. Do you like following orders? Follow me. I suppose that's after the frying pan into the fire, unless you know no better. Owl, I love searching for shiny treasure among the ruins. Come with us and search new places. That's the hoopy bird. Nightingale, I live for love. My rose and I are one. How can I leave my rose? Hoopy bird says, better watch for thorns. Parrot. I like it here. I feel safe. They bring me food and water every day. And tell you what to think? That's Whoopie Bird. Peacock, I'm special. I'm not like anybody else. Look at my colours. Come and show everyone your colours. Let's go. Show everyone your colours. They all need to see. They're quite happy then. At last, the birds take off. That's the angels trying to show you that my crown is only made of cheap tackery. Part 3, in which the birds fill all the corners of the world. Probably to spread the message. I don't know how they would do that, or do you? People flying across the blue. Blue's not my lucky colour. If you believe. Come on, you brave birds. Let's glide. Let's fly. Let's soar. Love loves difficult things. We're on our way. Love does love difficult things. Like beauty. Beauty and death are very closely related. Everything dies. You pick the flower, it's beautiful. It dies. That's what makes it beautiful. Because we only know it's there for a short time. And that's, oh no, it's sadness in beauty. That's why. So beauty, death and beauty are very closely related. The endless deserts are crystals of sand. The mountain ranges are strings of beads. In the pictures. I do love this book. I think it's glorious. Quiet and easy, birds. The wind is on our side. We have a very long way to go. How much further do we have to go? I wonder what the schmorg looks like. Is he going to feed us? Well, that's what I want to know. So many questions. 7 planets are freckless. Freckles, animal, freckless, fairy word. The 7 oceans are drops of rain. The 7 oceans are drops of rain. I suppose. It's fairy guarded. I told you with the fairy. Fairy magic. Just as a reminder, that was probably a special page. They are just drops of rain in the universe, aren't they? They seem very big to you and me. Well, they are just drops of rain in the universe. We're smaller than that. So, and your frenemies are no different. Inconsequential in the great scheme of things. So, our worries, really, are drops in the ocean. Part 5, I think. 4? Roman numerals. The ones before the V. That's 3, isn't it? No, 4. In which the birds have to cross the 7 valleys. The valley of quest, the valley of love, the valley of understanding, the valley of detachment, the valley of unity, the valley of amazement, the valley of death. That's Faery's favourite. The valley of quest. Peaceful. Oh, I didn't show the picture. Teachers. After parties. I really concentrate. From experience. In which the valley of death. Have I showed you that one already? Honestly, it's so crazy in this class. The valley of quest. Peaceful, auspicious truth. Intense, enduring, numbing, calming, eternal. You have to buy this book for your children because it's lovely. It's calming. It's an adult book, so don't let them have it to scribble on. But they should see the pictures because it's nice. Jettison your obsessions, your power, and everything you hold dear. birds settle for the night. Leave it in the desert. Which desert was it? I've forgotten. The Valley of Quest. Oh, so the quest is to dispose of your beliefs, I think. The birds settle for the night. The obsessive bird, sifting the earth for a sieve, said, I'm trying to find my way, so I must look everywhere. Hoopy, when you feel empty, you have to open up your heart and let the wind sweep through it. I wonder what the wind brings. The Valley of Love, here burning... Did I show you the picture? Christ, I've been up for. The Valley of Love. Here burning fire is love. Burning love is fire. Desert of love. Nothing but a desert. Have to keep going through the Valley of Desert. I love it though. The pyre of love is simmering and the pyre of love is simmering and constant. There it goes out. Some birds creep away under the cover of darkness. Blushing birds, I'm scared of love. Hoopy, love can lift you to the top of the world or pull you to the bottom of hell. Hoopy, the ancient gravedigger, was asked if you can bury love. He answered that he had buried many corpses over many years, but he had never once buried his desires. The Valley of Understanding. Here we choose a different way and different rules to disobey. Oh, for goodness sake. For goodness sake. How's alive? I need this. I've got a knife down. It's a maze, isn't it? There's always a maze. Valley of Understanding. With time suspended, there is no beginning or end, only endless flight. Birds. Where are we? There is no understanding in this Valley of Understanding. Hoopy. Here we must pay close attention. We are following a path. No one knows how long we have to go. That's not right. Hoopy. Here we must pay close attention. We are following a path. No one knows how long we have to go forward or how far. Do you know the story of the bird who lost his way and nobody was looking for him? He turned into stone and cried. He cried little pebbles. The Valley of Detachment. It is here that all curiosity and desire expire. Let's say it again. The Valley of Detachment. It is here that all curiosity and desires expire. Let's go through the Valley of Detachment. Howling, a tornado surges suddenly out of nothingness and lays waste entire continents. Oh, that sounds scary, doesn't it? It's a detached, I suppose. It all... No. If all the heavens, with all their stars, exploded in this valley, they would be but a leaf fluttering in the wind. Here is a tiny fish. No. If all the heavens, with all the stars, exploded in the valley, they would be but a leaf fluttering in the wind. Here a tiny fish is mightier than a whale, and nobody can say why. The astrologer bird traces all the constellations and planet on his tablet of sand. Then the wind picks up and scatters his design to dust. How solid is our world, and yet it is nothing but grains of sand. Hoopy, do you not even think about stopping here, birds? No, Do not even think about stopping here, birds. I don't know, there's 2 messages there, isn't it? Do or don't, I suppose. The fairies are being tricky, I suppose. Or giving you a message. I don't know! The Valley of Unity. All who enter here are bound at the neck by one rope. Tied together. Oh, around the neck. Dragged along, probably, by a king. In a moody one. He's in charge, though. It's like, come along. Fucking hell. If you see many here, they are in reality only a few, if any. Even I find that complicated to understand. I'm a teacher. As the exhausted birds drop off to sleep, a bat appears. Bat, what news do you have of the sun? I've been flying in the dark my whole life. I can't find the sun. Does it even exist? There's more fairy magic on this page. Oh, it's tobacco. Maybe because it's a bat, probably. Whoopie, why aren't you asleep? Tiny bird. We all need our rest. Tiny bird. I'm never sure of myself. One day I'm confident, the next I'm uncertain. One day I despair, the next day I sore. I'm weak, I'm frail. I just never fit. Whoopie. Everyone has ups and downs, little bird. Fly. Clean your heart. Probably because tobacco and bats are both dark, aren't they? Dark spirits. I don't mind all. The Valley of Amazement. A place of constant pain and gnawing bewilderment. I didn't write this book. Peter Sis. Nice pictures though. Probably so the words weren't so difficult to stomach. Don't you dare look here. You don't dare to breathe piercing swords of pain. When the birds come to the 6th valley, it disappeared behind their wings. They were confused, uneasy. They wondered, they waited. The sorry bird, we've gone too far. I'm afraid we can't go back. Whoopie, back? That's a circle bird. Why just think of the phoenix? Why? Just think of the phoenix. He lives alone for more than 1,000 years, acquiring great wisdom. When it is time to go, he gathers leaves around him, spreads his wings, starts a fire. A new phoenix is born from his ashes. We're going forwards, birds. Keep crawling forwards. Or backwards. Isn't that? That's a. I forget which Native American tribe that is. You die if you move forwards. You die if you move backwards. So keep moving forwards. The Valley of Death. Here you see nothing. Here you feel nothing. Here there is nothing. There's more fairy magic on this page. That looks like ganja. I think it's tobacco though. I suppose I'd had ganja in hospital. The heart here is still and quiet, holding many a mystery. Ganja. Hundreds of thousands of birds had set off on the journey, and they filled all the corners of the world. But many didn't make it. Some distressed and discouraged snuck away in fear. Others kept on going but were overcome. They lost direction, reason, died of thirst or hunger from the heat of the sun, from the vastness of the oceans. They were ravaged by beasts and scared out of their minds by what they saw along the way. Finally, the remaining ragged birds came to the end of the 7th valley. Birds. Are we alive or dead? Where is that king with all the answers? We've come all this way. Let us see him. We've made it through all those valleys. Whoopie. Valleys? They were only an illusion, birds, a dream. We've been through nothing. We are just now beginning our journey. If I'd read this through, I might not have read it again. It seems a bit scary. Not a happy story at all. Part 5, in which the mountain of Cap appears in the distance. Some birds could not believe it. On the spot, they lost all hope. Some kept flying. They dropped dead and fell from the sky. I keep seeing dead birds now. That's funny, isn't it? Because before I asked the question, where do dead birds go? Now they just go on the floor. In which the mountain of Calf appears in the distance. A band of 30 battered, beaten, belugaed companions trying hard not to try and hardly... A band of 30 battered, beaten, belugaed companions trying hard not to try and hardly able to fly. So things like, what's happening in this picture? What do you think's happening here? Could you tell me about it? I've got time for that, so I run out of mind. My tablet. And we won't get the end of the story. It's entirely possible anyway. The mountain of Calf. We're looking for Smorg, our king. Mountain. Go home, birds. You're nothing but ashes and dust. Birds, have pity. Hoopy. Forgive me, birds. I was fooled by my own illusions. Mountain. Are you still here? Come. The curtains parted. The birds entered. I'm doing it quickly now because I'm scared when they're out. The clouds are birds and angels and pixies, fairies. Or if it's with the sea, I don't know. And they're fish. I don't know. The pictures are so lovely in this book. See, sometimes I think there's no point in me even trying because there's so much beauty in the world already. And they saw Smorg king, and Smorg king was them. What? At the end, 30 birds. Unified by their quest, reached their king at last. And they see their Smorg king. And that Smorg king is each of them. And all of them a strange ending about the author. Born in the former Czechoslovakia in 1949, Peter Sis is an internationally acclaimed illustrator, author and filmmaker. Sis is the author of more than 20 books. As a 7-time winner of the New York Times Book Review Best Illustrated Book of the Year. Most recently, in 2007, he published The Wall, Growing Up Behind the Iron Curtain, which was awarded the Robert F. Silbert Medal, was also named a Caldecott Honor book. Peter Sis was named MacArthur Fellow in 2003. He lives in the New York City area with his wife and children. For more information about Peter Sis and his work, please visit www.petersis.com. About the original author. Little is known about Farid ad-Din Attar, but the details we're left with suggest a man who challenged the conventions and the ideas of his time. Attar lives in Nishapur in northeastern Persia, the period spanning the late 12th and early 13th centuries. He was known as perfumer because he composed his poems in type of shotgun medical dispensary, also sold perfumes. Educated as a theologian, Attar travelled widely to Egypt, Damascus and to Mecca, and even as far as Turkestan and India. It was said of him that he never sought a king's favour. In addition to the Conference of Birds, also known as the colloquy or Parliament of the Birds, he wrote a memorial of saints in prose. Attar was tried for heresy and banished, his property looted in the 1220s. He was back in Nishapur, where he died in the hands of the Mughal invaders. So we'll do it for him, really. I'll keep his work alive. But, we've all just... It was supposed to... The idea I got from the fairies was... We've all just whatever we go through together, we've all just, at the end of the day, we're all just human. No one needs to hold any power over anyone else. So there. Apart from the fairies, of course. And who knows which ones of those are who. Fairies help each other. So that's the fairy. That's the fairy chalice for the morning. With a spilling fairy tea. I thought I'd just give that to you all. That's my story, wasn't it? Now, that was the fairy bells calling. Probably need to. I don't know. I'm drinking fairy coffee. I have to read the fairy newspaper. I'll probably wake up in a minute thinking, oh my god, you know what? After you've been to a fairy party and you think of all the things you did, and it's like, oh god, no. Oh. And you just pretend you knew. Don't answer your phone for a few days. And I don't know, it really matters. It takes two persons, yes. One person say no. No one says no, do they? Everyone says yes. So, same world over, I think. What stays at the front? What happens at the front stays at the front. There we go. Right, now. Come on, Baggins. Look at that ring into the fucking pot. See you later.